Welcome to another episode of the American Beer Review Podcast.
Good times with good friends requires good beer. Lucky for us, we know how to pick all three.
We're a group of friends who grew up in the Pacific Northwest, giving us a jump start on our craft beer journey.
Join us today while Brian... I pride myself on not getting to know other people, so do not put that on me.
Alec.
So the bananas, up until like the 60s, were an entirely different species of banana.
And Chad. It hit me like a wrecking ball.
Review some beer, talk about beer topics, and whatever else comes up. We invite you to pour yourself a drink and hang out with us.
Earbuds in.
We're on mute and it's coming up. And we are live.
Perfect. Back for another episode. Chad, what are we drinking today?
We are drinking from our friends at Boundary Bay Brewery.
Yes.
The Northwest Original IPA, the Inside Passage Ale, but it is an IPA.
Yeah.
In a
Bomber.
an old school bomber, baby. We are back, and as such...
Uh-oh.
Whoops.
That wasn't my pour this time. Last episode did so well that we decided to fire Brian.
Yes.
So he's not joining us again this week either. Plus, he knows nothing about Bellingham or any of their breweries, so
No.
he wouldn't be much of a help talking about Boundary Bay.
Not at all.
So they're Northwest IPA.
About as good as me.
Let me pull it up here. So 7.5% ABV, 78 IBUs. Their classic IPA, first introduced in 1996. Big malt backbone and a heavy dose of Amarillo hops lead the way for this true Northwest style IPA. So they're calling their shot on that one.
Yeah, and it. Every time they talk about it, it's
Northwest
old school. So that's why I grabbed it, because
Well, we've had so many conversations about a West Coast IPA, and we're getting West Coast IPAs out of
we're the SEC of beer. We'd been really talking ourselves up here in the Northwest. I'm just gonna get right into it.
Go for it. Rip.
I'm going ham today. Obviously, got a nice little backup beer here.
There you go. Just a little one.
We're going old school. I'm going old school
Okay.
with the the old school
Oil.
Champagne oil can
Yep.
starter. It's either that or Foster's, but we're American Beer Review, so I'm going with Miller Lite.
There you go. And that's probably what we were
High
drinking
Life.
is backup beers as soon as we finished our Boundary Bays back in the day.
Yes, because these used to be like $2.
Yeah.
Back in my day,
I think we were like 2 for $3.
fucking inflation.
Yeah.
Inflation's a bitch. But you know what's not?
This is really
This
good.
beer. This beer is tasty.
I mean, if you've been making a beer since 1996,
Oh, that is just...
and I think now they classify it, and it may not have been a category. So now it's a double dry hopped IPA.
I saw that.
So I'm pretty sure when they
They made it
launched
as an
it,
IPA.
that wasn't even a thing.
No.
So you didn't even have to name it at that. I don't know when I checked it in or if I've ever checked it in or anything like that. All I know is I love me some Boundary Bay and an IPA at a Boundary Bay.
Yeah, because we've definitely talked up Cabin Fever.
Yes.
And then what?
The Scotch Ale.
Scotch Ale.
is, I mean,
Scotch Ale, obviously.
my number one Mount Rushmore beer.
Yeah.
So. And Cabin Fever, you just grabbed again recently, right? I thought you.
I got 5 in the fridge. I'm saving them.
You may
saving
have-
them for a later day.
You may have 4 in the fridge by the time I leave.
That's fine.
I think those two might.
I pay you guys in beer anyway.
those might both be on my Mount Rushmore of beer. Ooh, that's another beer game. Like, what's your top 4? You could have out of 5. Pretend they carved another face on the mountain. I'm not asking you to think about it right now. 'cause
Oh,
right
okay,
now
okay, well,
I'm going to sprack off like 4 Boundary Bay beers because that's
laser
what we've
focused.
had. Yeah. Like,
Brian, Brian, if you're listening while you're recovering still, think about it.
It's definitely Northwest. They're not lying when they say Northwest. This has plenty of hops, good malt back, right? So it's not overly piney, overly hoppy. But
Like if you're so smelling this, you're not like it's not like it's not like an IPA now or a hazy IPA now where you have to on the nose they need to tell you, okay, this is you need grapefruit, citrus, all that stuff. This is just there's a little bit of hops in there, very not piney, but then when you taste it, that's when you're getting the flavor.
This is in the flavor, not the smell. 100%. That might change if we're pouring out of like a bigger glass, you get a little bit more surface area.
This is nostalgia. This is nostalgia in the glass. Like I'm trying to describe it, but this is like what we in our early craft days as the beer aisle expanded.
Yep.
This is what we got into. Like
well, this is why when we have
this
IPAs,
is why we're IPA heads.
that's what I'm saying. This is why when somebody says West Coast IPA, we go, no. This is what an IPA should be.
Yeah, this is a Northwest IPA, but then a West Coast obviously branched off of that because we're the SEC of beer, and I'm gonna die on that hill.
But when you go to other places and they're like, "This is our IPA," and you go, "This is a like hoppier ale." Like this is not this is not an IPA.
Like this is a beer built to just to carry the hops.
Yeah.
An IPA should be hoppy, and that's it. A little bit of malt in there, if like the hop balance or whatever, to make sure it's all blended together.
Yeah.
In a nice little package. But this is
a beer brewed to survive the passage from England to India, and still taste good at the very end.
Fun fact: if you didn't know why it's called an IPA, that's why it's called an IPA.
This is fantastic. I'm glad you got a 22 of this, and we don't have to share it 3 ways.
We might just sit here for the rest of the episode and just finish it. Honestly,
We might. We probably could have gotten bigger glasses for this one.
I almost said should we go pint glasses, but no. We'll do it little sippies at a time. That gives us time to.
It's our only beer for the day. Well, my only beer for the day.
Yeah,
So
sit and relax. Oh no, our replay
as
of our sporting event is over. Now we're watching college basketball, which I never watch. Anyways, back to the beer and Bellingham. So you got the old man in the sea on the front, and the inside passage is like the reference to. I'm so happy we can call this now the Pacific Northwest Fjord System.
Did they start officially referring to it as that?
On the Wikipedia page, the inside passage, so basically you kind of go along the coast and protects you from the Pacific Ocean, so you can go from Seattle all the way up to Alaska and whatnot.
Yep.
And it is the, I think they call it the Pacific Northwest Fjords system. I was like, nice.
That is cool.
It's one of my favorite words. That's on my Mount Rushmore of words.
Fjord?
Yeah. FJORD.
Yeah.
Don't ask me how I know that.
It's also pretty metal.
Yeah. From the land of ice and snow.
Mm-hmm. No, this is awesome. This is one that I'll grab up in Bellingham. We haven't been there this year. Year's very, very early. We usually go mid to late spring, and then we'll go towards the end of the summer before school starts back up.
Yeah.
Spend some time up there, and Boundary Bay is always a stop. Because I can bring the kids into the restaurant. We can have food. I can have some of their delicious beers, and then order either some bottles or a 6-pack to go on my way out. And we enjoy the town and all of that. So Brian does a lot more perusing.
He spreads his love around.
Yep. And I stay with my first love.
Yeah.
So
there's not. Both ways have their merits. It pays to be a regular. Some places too.
Yeah, I'm not regular enough that they would know me anymore when I show up.
Well, they do. They throw us plenty of love on the gram.
Oh, that is true.
They were one of the first ones, so we want to give a little back. I'm sure we're going to do a. Someday we're going to get all of our asses up there with the full setup.
Legitimately, probably the next one you need to put on the table is getting up to Bellingham. It's going to be an easy sell for me and my wife and family. It's going to be an easier sell for Brian, and then you just got to find someplace to have somebody watch the dog.
I can stash my dog away for a weekend, no problem.
And we could get up there. I mean,
He loves going to Grandpa's house
there you go.
because he comes back spoiled.
Like 5 pounds heavier every time.
Yeah. Everyone's looking at me on the YouTube like,
What are
it
you
looks
doing?
like a deer in the headlights, but I am just trying to find words to describe this. But all I'm just getting in my head is just nostalgia.
Yeah, we haven't gone back this hard on a beer
Like
since we switched to tasters.
we haven't had. I don't think we've had this flavor because
Branching out.
We've been on Tavor and we've been branching out and looking at all these wonderful interpretations. Like we're the SCC of beer. I'm gonna say it again. I'm gonna die on that hill. But like people come here, taste these flavors, go back East Coast,
Mhm.
middle of the country, all these places.
And they try to replicate it.
I don't know if they're some of them try to replicate it, but some folks go, you know what? This flavor isn't going to fly here because we grew up with this.
Yep.
Like we're
Palates.
Fuck, we're entering our 40s.
Yeah.
So the breweries up here have a built-in
Customer base
that
you don't necessarily
who cut their teeth on this flavor when they were in, college and whatnot. You were around Boundary Bay,
5 whole years, yeah.
all through college. I skedaddled out of Ellensburg before Iron Horse really came up, but the captain
Stuck around.
he was there
a few
too.
years.
But that was almost 20 years ago.
Shh.
I know.
Shut your face.
I know. It's tough to think about, but it is the truth. And now this is a flavor we're searching for out of all. Like if you go to the beer case now, it's tough to find this flavor. I'm glad the bombers started to show them back up.
I was going to say,
In my cold case,
where did you find this? Because you didn't. This isn't a Tavor drop, and this isn't a
this was in the grocery store.
grocery store. It's not even a bottle shop.
Nope, this was in the grocery
Nice.
store because my grocery store, whoever's stocking the beer there, has started cutting out a little Boundary Bay niche.
Nice.
The Cabin Fever got a nice little section, the Scotch Ale, and then they managed to cut out a little area for some more bombers. It's tough because this form factor disappeared too.
The 22s went away. Yeah.
Because the 22 is going back to the OG American Beer Review when we're just a blog,
Mm-hmm.
and everything was in a bomber.
Yep.
It was great because you could just 22 ounces, you pour your 16,
Yeah.
and then you finish half your pint and go, oh, I got to top it off,
Uh-huh.
and then you do your blog post and all that stuff. That is a fantastic form factor, but I don't know if a lot of beers now are built for that.
For the 22.
They're just built to. You get your 16 ounces or your 19.2 and just finish it because they're all it.
Yeah. Well, because
As I say that, this is at 7.5. So this is 22 ounces at 7.5, which is kind of around that ballpark of the new brown paper bag section
oh yeah.
by the 19.2s.
When we were on the blog, we were reviewing solo, so the 22
Yeah,
was
yeah.
22 was on you
Yes.
to either whatever taste or waste. Versus this is easy. I mean, with 3 of us here, this would have been gone already.
Oh, well. We get
I mean,
the spoils go to us.
It will still be gone. All right. While we, let's rate, and then while we savor the rest of this.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're cranking along good.
Yeah. While we rate, or let's rate it, and then savor the rest of this. While you had a beer topic for the week.
Yeah, well, we'll fill something out the rest of the episode. We'll figure it out.
I am 100% buying Boundary Bay if I found it in my grocery store.
I am.
I know we don't. I mean, so Boundary Bay, there's something in my beer fridge pretty consistently. Right now, it is just the Scotch Ale at home. This one, my son did catch me lying and saying,
Yeah.
"Hey, you didn't put all this stuff in your beer fridge." Boundary Bay is one that is always in my beer fridge, and if it's not, I'm trying to angle for a way to get more of it in my beer fridge. Scotch ale's usually my go-to. Cozy sweater, or not cozy sweater. Winter warmer.
Yep.
Their winter warmer is also a strong one. This one I have not had in a while. This one needs to make an appearance, especially over the summer.
Yes. This is a great summer IPA. Now that you say that.
Yeah.
I'm going to echo that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep I've got a actual unusable shelf in my fridge that doesn't fit a lot of things, but you know what it fits?
22s?
A single bomber.
Oh, nice.
So I am probably going to have a single bomber of this because it is an IPA. It's very hop forward, but it's not overly hoppy. Like I could crush this whole 22 and not feel overload, but I could just, that kind of hop limit that I need for the day is fully fulfilled. Definitely not doing 2 of these.
No, probably not. And this will be interesting. And too bad, B isn't here, as he's avoiding IPAs to see what this would feel like tomorrow morning. And you've had some susceptibility towards
Yes.
those, because
But the day is young.
Because if IPA, well, you can back it up with some water, but if IPAs are getting to you, this will get to you.
This is one of those sneaky ones. Like I think you could, if you were you go up to Bellingham, sitting in the tap room, you have 1 pint of it, do some other things, but then I could see you ordering a second one, working on it over dinner, and then you know what? I'll have a third, and I think that'll be the one that sinks you.
Puts you over the edge.
But
what would get you into trouble up there, especially if we stayed walkable or Uberable, is you'd have 1, maybe 2, a third on the way out, and then we would get a growler.
Oh, yeah, you're leaving there with beer until yes.
Back at the Airbnb, you would then open said growler, and that's where we would get into trouble.
And if they happen to have cabin fever that you could put into growlers, then oof.
Yeah.
You have to have an extra day built in.
Right. Maybe that's when we don't take the kids.
No, you just pop them in front of you. We'll bring the Xbox and the PlayStation. We'll just hey, you know what? Here's a bag of Doritos and some soda. Do all the things that we tell you can't do. Just Daddy needs 24 hours to sleep this off.
Right.
I'm gonna give this delicious beer. I'm going to give it 4.5 out of 5 Western Washington universities.
There you go. This is a 5-star Northwest IPA for me. When we've talked about what a Northwest IPA should be, it's in this class.
Yep. Look at that. Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Slightly hazy. Beautiful. Just everything you want in a beer.
And yours is full, so I'm going to take the last little bit of that. Because I'm wearing the shirt.
That's fine. I've got the rest of my Champagne here.
I was going to say it's because I'm wearing my vintage.
Well, yeah, you're fully standing boundary today.
I would say that I had to find it knowing we were going to review this today, but it's in pretty constant rotation at the top of my closet. So
clothes are meant to be worn. Use them.
Beer news?
Let's see.
Something quick?
The craft beer boom is over, so bars and breweries are cutting back.
Yeah, we'll follow up more on this, I think, next time with
our man on the street.
Yeah, who's in a lot more of them. But we've hinted at it is we kind of felt it was cresting for a little bit. Obviously, COVID had a significantly negative impact, but it's interesting to see that it's still.
I think I'll do a little more research on it, but COVID kind of accelerated beer sales enough. There was a false spike that I think some people bit on.
Oh, okay.
Because looking at our business personally, if you looked at the trend line, pre and post COVID, that trend line stayed the same, but you had a bump in COVID. Like if you're looking at overall sales, I feel like maybe a lot of folks went, oh, everyone's going to stay at home, whatnot.
Send them some
work
beer.
from home. They're going to have beer for lunch. They're going to be drinking more beer. So I think a lot of folks who had some extra scratch lying around and not much to do, or
Yeah, but if you're not able to go out to dinner, you're not able to go bars.
and started a brewery, which is
Oh,
great.
okay.
I think people, if you feel like you should start a brewery, start a brewery. But I think a lot of them got started during a period of time when beer sales were artificially inflated because there were a lot of folks,
filling the void.
just drinking way too. Like I can tell you, the recycling days in my neighborhood.
Oh, a lot more
During the-
rattling.
Oh yeah. So I think it's normalizing, but folks like Boundary Bay who have been at it since 1996.
I think they've been around for longer. This one,
Yeah, even
I think
longer.
They were,
But they've been if you've been making a tasty beer since 1996,
Yeah.
before I could even buy beer legally.
Mhm. Before you could drive legally.
Oh,
Right?
oh, okay. Okay, I'm good. I'm gonna have a sip of this beer.
All right, we'll have Brian follow up next week on what
Yeah.
he thinks about the declining beer industry and what that means longer term, whether this is just kind of a
Foreshadowing.
course correction or
Yeah.
What that looks like. Glasses aren't empty because we are finishing this 22 today.
Yeah, we're gonna keep sipping while you losers log off.
Yeah, and hopefully if you have some Boundary Bay, your glasses are getting topped off as well. And we will catch you next time.
If you've enjoyed what you just heard, make sure you subscribe to get new episodes when they drop, and don't forget to leave us a review. If you want to see what we're drinking when we're not on the pod, you can follow us on social media at A Beer Review. Feel free to send us any beer suggestions that we can make Chad go buy off of Tavor.